Have you ever felt like something's in the air, but no one's saying it out loud? As if a secret is floating through the corridors of St. James Park, yet no one dares to speak it aloud. It's a strange, heavy atmosphere, the kind that usually comes right before major decisions and silent movements. And it's not just guesswork. Sharp-eyed Newcastle fans have already noticed something feels off in the club's recent behavior, and all signs point to a growing frustration behind the scenes. But why? Over the past few weeks, while other clubs move freely in the transfer market, Newcastle seems stuck. Not due to a lack of ambition or poor planning, but because of something external, a silent, invisible barrier that's completely changing the course of negotiations. On one hand, there's money, a solid sporting project and a clear desire to grow. On the other, resistance, backroom obstacles that are preventing key deals from being finalized. And as each day passes, frustration behind the scenes grows stronger. And look, if you're a proud Magpies fan and want to keep up with every twist behind the scenes, now is the perfect time to subscribe to the channel. In every video, we bring you the latest updates in a clear and direct way, so you're always one step ahead. Your subscription is essential to help this channel grow and continue producing top content. So, if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button right now. Back to the situation. It's not just the famous PSR Premier League's profit and sustainability rules that's slowing things down. There's something subtler, yet incredibly powerful, a term that's becoming more and more common in English football circles: the so-called Saudi tax. It might sound like a joke or a conspiracy theory at first, but the claims are serious and backed by reliable sources in British journalism. This time it was reported by none other than Luke Edwards of The Telegraph. According to him, Newcastle United are growing increasingly frustrated with how rival clubs treat them during transfer talks. The accusation is clear. Other clubs are inflating prices whenever Newcastle show interest, simply assuming the club backed by the Saudi PIF sovereign wealth fund has limitless money to spend. This so-called Saudi tax is making simple negotiations nearly impossible, turning them into financial battles the club just can't justify. And it doesn't stop there. Edwards revealed that Newcastle tried to make early moves in this transfer window, only to meet resistance due to this price inflation. Rival clubs are reportedly demanding well above market value, believing Newcastle won't hesitate to pay. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Even with PIF backing, Newcastle must still follow PSR rules, which impose strict spending limits. In other words, there's no blank check. The club must manage its finances responsibly and within the regulations. The clearest example the Telegraph gave involves Brentford's Brian Mbeumo. The Cameroonian forward was highly rated by Newcastle's recruitment team. Everyone involved in the sporting project saw Mbeumo as a perfect fit for the squad and believed his signing would be a major step forward. But then came the shock. Brentford demanded over £60 million, and his wages would exceed £250,000 per week. If the deal went through, Mbeumo would become the highest paid player at the club, and that's the problem. A new signing on those wages would set a dangerous precedent. Key players in the current squad would likely demand pay rises, creating a domino effect that could spiral out of control. After carefully reviewing the deal, the board decided to back off. Financially, it no longer made sense, even though it was a smart move on the pitch. It was yet another deal blocked by the Saudi tax, warping the market and preventing fair deals from happening. If you're enjoying this in-depth coverage of Newcastle's behind-the-scenes struggles, don't forget to share this video with fellow fans. We don't just report the headlines here, we dig into the details and decode what's really happening. And if you haven't turned on notifications yet, do it now so you don't miss our next updates. Every click helps this content reach more fans and keeps our community strong and well-informed. Another point raised by Luke Edwards is the club's plan for this transfer window. The board want to strengthen 4 key positions: a new goalkeeper, a centre-back, a right winger, and a striker to compete with Alexander Isak. But with prices sky high and PSR limits in place, it's impossible to splash out in all areas at once. That means tough decisions, prioritizing, and above all, smart negotiating. Newcastle are trying to do just that, but English clubs aren't making it easy. So, what now? The club is once again turning to the European market. Talents like Bruno Guimaraes, Sven Botman, Alexander Isak, and Sandro Tonali all came from outside the Premier League, proving there's elite-level talent beyond England's bubble. Targeting young, high-potential players abroad could be the key to escaping the inflated fees dominating the English transfer scene right now. And this kind of insight is exactly why being subscribed to this channel matters. While the mainstream media often pushes simple narratives, we break things down and go deeper into the real story. So if you're enjoying this type of content and want to stay informed, hit that subscribe button and help grow our community. Your support makes all the difference. Back to the club's transfer strategy. The Newcastle directors are fully aware that expectations are high. After a tough season, fans are demanding a step up in quality. To meet those expectations, the club needs to be creative. It's not just about having money, it's about using it wisely, avoiding inflated deals, and positioning Newcastle as a forward-thinking, sustainable club. That's why targeting lesser-known but highly effective players could be the smartest route. According to the Telegraph, there's frustration behind the scenes but also caution. The club understands that the start of the window is always the toughest. Real opportunities often come later, when other clubs reassess their priorities and become more flexible. Until then, Newcastle's approach is to stay calm, explore all alternatives, and avoid hasty decisions that could hurt the club financially. Finally, let's talk about your role as a fan. The more accurate information you have, the less space there is for rumors, panic, and bad decisions. That's why independent media like this channel is so important. We're here to keep you properly informed with credible sources, clear analysis, and a tone that respects your intelligence and passion for this club. So stay tuned, because in the next videos we'll keep tracking this story closely. We'll break down every twist, analyze every move, and explore every alternative Newcastle are considering in the European market. Don't forget to leave a like, turn on notifications, and share this video with other supporters. It helps our work tremendously and keeps the flame of this incredible fan base burning. Always informed, always watching, always believing in Newcastle United.